YouTube, man? It's your boy Kiwi, man. We back with another video now. Look, man, in today's video, we got jxmyhighroller, bro. We got how a 5-year-old beef destroyed the greatest NBA season, or the greatest season in NBA history. Now, if y'all always wondering why Wemby and Chet is always beefing, this is gonna tell y'all why, bro. This video right here is gonna tell y'all exactly why these boys always beefing. I always wondered too, why Wemby coming at Chet so hard? I was confused, but I was like, maybe because they both rookies at the same time or something. But hey, I guess it's a deeper story, and we're gonna find it out in this video, man. So let's get to it. New to the channel, like, subscribe, share if you're new, notification bell so you don't miss no uploads.
Players have beef.
Let's get to it.
Usually nothing. Maybe some smack talk here and there, some friendly banter from time to time, a subtle jab, or some extra motivation for the next time they match up. In rare occasions, beefs grow into something more, real rivalries with very real consequences. But more often than not, the respect is mutual, and the beef players have is in the spirit of some good, admirable competition. But what if it wasn't?
Word, what if it wasn't?
What if it got so out of control, it altered the very history of the NBA itself? When two players despise each other so much that the mere comparison of them is met with consequence. And what if the beef began over something that never really even mattered in the first place?
Damn, you can tell Wemby mad, bro. Damn, Wemby was tight. Damn, Wem. What happened, bro? What'd he do?
Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings.
Hey, yo.
You will get $1 wager only on.
I get it. 2020, what happened?
The first mention of Wemby and Chet together in some degree, at least from what I could find, was in a basketball forum all the way back in December of 2020, where a user asked the question, who are your top 5 players for the class of 2021 and 2022? Every single answer that followed containing both the names Victor Wembanyama.
They was comparing Wemby to Bo, bro. Yo, why they was doing that, bro? I knew Wemby wasn't no Bo, bro. I just knew he wasn't no Bo. He wasn't moving like Bo. Bo, his own person. I feel like Bo could still play in today's NBA. I don't think a team's picked him up, but I think he should be on the team 100%. No cap.
Different orders. Chet 2, Wemby 3, Chet 1, Wemby 3, Wemby 2, Chet 3, Wemby 1, Chet 2. 2020 doesn't feel too long ago, but anyone who had Victor as the best prospect in this class was well ahead of the curve, since at the time he was just 16 years old and had about 10 months of film on his resume where he looked like an actual child trapped in a giant's body. Chet, on the other hand, was the #1 ranked prospect in America in his senior year of high school, already committed to Gonzaga and nearly 2 years older than Wemby. Ironically, Victor wasn't even in the class of 22. He was a member of the 23 NBA draft class. This question should have never even involved Victor in the first place. But fate would have it that these two would be compared long before they ever even faced one another. Due to COVID restrictions at the time, any and all potential interactions between the two were held off until the following season. But 7 months later, in the summer of 2021, Wemby and Chet would match up for the first time in their careers in a game that would spark the most heated rivalry in basketball today.
Oh shit, first time linking up. Sheesh. What happened, bro? 2021.
In July of 2021, the FIBA Basketball U19 final came down to the USA versus France. The most highly anticipated
so it's USA versus France, no cap. France be tough.
Championship on the line.
France be having a squad, I ain't gonna lie.
Had a stacked roster featuring 10 future NBA players, some of which include Jaden Ivey, Peyton Watson, Kenny Lofton, Ryan Kolkbrenner, and the best player in the country.
I remember, bro, with the curly hair. Did he go back to college?
Who at the time was already seen as the best prospect in the world, regardless of age. The freakish frames and tools of both Wemby and Chet sparking conversations of similarities between the two. Both slim, lengthy big men with offensive games far too sharp for their size and NBA-ready defensive instincts. Who's better? Who is the rarer unicorn? By the end of this game, those questions were answered. Victor Wembanyama was clearly a step above everyone else.
Sheesh. Wham. No shit, young Wham getting buckets. Sheesh. Alley-oop. That's easy. Block. Get that out of here. That is going nowhere. Another block. Get that out of here. Wemby. Ooh, step.
Every possession important.
3 ball. Damn, how much bro had? What the hell? Shit.
often, and this time projected.
Wow.
Hand on it.
It's another tough shot.
It's a close game, though. Wemby, another block.
Despite being the youngest player on the court and finishing the game
Bro
with
was the youngest player on the court.
22-88, as very visibly the best player on the floor, Team USA narrowly edged
Damn.
out France, beating them 81-83.
Damn,
And
Wemby
to
was
add
tight.
insult to injury, the tournament MVP was none other than Chet Holmgren, Wemby having to settle for a silver medal and a spot on the all-tournament team. Now, for most players on the brink
Damn.
of a promising NBA career, this entire tournament would be non-consequential, irrelevant within a few months. But Victor Wembanyama isn't like most players. As
Damn,
the awards
bro,
were
it's
being
tight.
handed out, Victor could be seen with a look of almost disgust. If you didn't know any better, you'd think France came in dead last by the way Victor handled this loss. Moping around, head down, dragging his feet, disinterested in the whole thing. Appalled even that they didn't win the tournament and he didn't win MVP. A moment that Victor Wembanyama recalls as the worst basketball memory of his life, saying, quote, "Just thinking about it makes my jaw clench. It's a regret. An unfilled hole inside me that I have to fix."
Bro, a player like this, bound to be the greatest, bro. Or one of the greats, bro. If a nigga like taking basketball this serious, bro, you can tell Wemby love the game more than other people in the league, bro. Wemby's gonna be great. I just pray Wemby stay healthy. That's the only thing, bro. Wemby gotta stay healthy. It's literally that simple. He gotta stay healthy. But low key, bro.
Is borderline concerning.
This nigga Wemby.
These are not the words of a kid ready to just forget and move on to a bright NBA career.
No cap.
Unbeknownst to him, Chet Holmgren created a void in the career of the best basketball
You get that boy a
prospect on
tiss
the
out watch.
planet. And by any means necessary, Victor was going to spend the next half
Bro looks so
decade
disappointed.
filling that void.
Bro looks so disappointed, bro. Damn. That's why it's where it all started. It's where it all started. Wemby versus
By
Chet,
the
bro.
start of the 2023-24 NBA season, Chet and Wemby were slated to face off in their first NBA matchup. But this wasn't just their first matchup in the league against each other. Although Chet was drafted a year before Wemby, an injury sidelined Holmgren for what should have been his rookie season. And so not only would they be battling for Rookie of the Year that entire season,
The debut.
the very first game of their respective careers
Sheesh, I
were, of
remember
course,
this.
against one another. Now, this was a preseason game. It should not have meant anything at all. And it didn't mean anything to anyone besides Chet and Wemby. Both of them going suspiciously hard in a preseason game in early October. Despite a few viral moments from Wemby, the Thunder came back and won the game. And it was Chet who outplayed Victor in just about every measurable way. And in the very first public stoking of the fire, Chet tweeted this after the game. As if Victor needed
Wemby flex on Chet Holmgren after the N1. The headbutt is an unstoppable move for sure. Damn, Chet. Nah, bro, fucked up tweeting this out. I ain't gonna lie. Damn, bro. Chet thought he was him, bro.
any more motivation. As if the kid that was left with a hole inside him that needed to be fixed needed any more fuel to the fire. Chet Holmgren just doused it with a gallon of gasoline in front of the entire world. And thus, this rivalry officially began. In his post-game
Damn,
interview,
bro, making
Chet was
tweets.
asked about his budding rivalry with Wemby, to which he had this to say.
I know you and Victor have been connected for years, even though you haven't played against each other very much. And he just was saying that he thinks this is going to be the start of a lot of really good games against each other. Do you feel that way?
100%. I played against him a couple years ago in FIBA, and I plan to play a long time, and I'm sure he does too. So there'll be no choice but to go back and forth. So
And he was right. There has, in fact, been no choice but to go back and forth. Even before their first regular season matchup, their relationship was already being labeled as the makings of NBA's next intense rivalry. By their second matchup of the season, the intensity between them had already built up to the point where they were abandoning sets altogether to go at each other one-on-one.
Nah,
Wemby
deadass
going
though.
out of
I'll
his
be
way
peeping
to
it.
show Chet and the rest of the world there should have never been a comparison in the first place. The numbers on the scoreboard briefly becoming irrelevant in these moments. Now again,
The fuck was that?
Chet didn't really even do anything to deserve this. An innocent bystander who just happened to cross paths with an alien in a FIBA tournament. But Wemby had a hole inside him, and he was fixing it. After the game, the media only made things worse by leading off with a slew of questions about the rivalry and what the two thought of it.
Damn, media playing a role in it, bro.
I mean,
It'd be
it's obviously like human nature, but you know, to really be uncommon and not just do what everybody else does, you have to kind of fight that. And obviously, that's the headline that you guys have. That's what ESPN's promoting. That's what the NBA is promoting, and rightfully so. You know, Vic's a great player. You know, I think I have a long way to go in this league, but you know, I plan to be a great player.
I mean, I wasn't matched up against him the whole game. You know, my first goal is always to win, and I don't. In a game like this, I don't think about that, especially in a loss.
Hey, shit.
First impression of these two unicorns and their potential in the league, it was a fairly even
Bro, the
matchup.
media, I feel like
Wemby was
they
great,
pushed us a
but
lot
so
though
was
too,
Chet.
bro.
Their names
Because they could have just been like a cool little rivalry, like, you know?
Fans, they were each other's equal.
This is potentially the beginning of something special, not only for the two of them individually, but the two of them head to head.
I think both of these guys are studs. They're future stars. You think that there's a better version of me, or I've already bettered him in under 19? There's a competitiveness that you see from Chet. I don't know about that from Victor yet. I believe that he is that dude because he has all of the talent and all of the skills, and he's mature beyond his years, as everyone says. But I do know that both of these guys seem like they're uber talented and they have some dog in them.
The league needs
No cap,
Victor
bro.
Wembanyama. They need Chet Holmgren to be players that are transcendent.
This, however, did not last very long. By the end of their rookie seasons, Wemby had firmly asserted himself as not just the superior player, but the future face of the league. A season that was capped off with Wemby's first triumph over Chet.
From the #1 pick and otherworldly expectations to now the unanimous winner of Rookie of the Year. Victor Wembanyama lived up to the
Sheesh,
hype.
Rookie of the Year, Wemby.
Unanimous NBA selection for Rookie of the Year. Only the
WM.
6th time in NBA history the Rookie of the Year race has been unanimous. He was the 3rd #1 draft choice.
What has it meant? Everything, you know.
Victor didn't just win Rookie of the Year, he won it unanimously. And, more importantly, he stopped Chet from winning it.
I mean, you can come up with 50 pros and cons for each of us on who's on our team, what we're playing for. At the end of the day, what is the criteria? This is my thing with all NBA awards. Like, what is the criteria? It's hard. It's all in the eye of the beholder. So it's like, who has more voters that believe in their side of the criteria? I guess. I mean, all credit to him for you know, a great season and everything.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie,
we're
Chet. I
not
don't like
looking,
this
you know,
response,
so,
bro.
like,
Just say congrats, but at the end of the day, everybody know you wasn't getting that shit over Wemby, bro. There's no way. If Chet would have won that shit over Wemby, that should have been highway robbery, bro. Dead ass serious. Ain't no way Chet was winning MVP over Wemby. If I'm wrong, let me know, bro. If I'm wrong, let me know, because ain't no way Chet was winning over Wemby. I'm sorry. Chet is a good player, don't get me wrong. If Chet was probably going up against anybody else, he would have won it, but against Wemby, fuck no. Fuck no.
I mean, you didn't play your next game, though.
You what?
I played more than 82 though, so that's the rule on our team.
Wait,
We play more than 82.
what did you
Rookie.
say?
Is that still a...
Most of y'all don't get the chance though, because most rookies don't get into the playoffs. So you can't play more than 82. So you know.
As much as they tried to deny it, this was a rivalry, and it was building quickly. And for just a moment,
bro,
a
low-key
small
slick.
portion
He
of
said
that-
most rookies don't get to the finals, so you can't play more than 92 games. Damn. So he was saying like, yeah, I made it and I'm a rookie. Hey, but like, bro, your team is stacked. If Wemby was on the Thunder, nigga, the Thunder would have the Warriors record, bro. If you swap Wemby and Chet, Thunder and Spurs, Chet's not giving the Spurs that many wins, and Wemby's giving the fucking Thunder an undefeated season, bro. Damn near. Holy shit.
That hole created in
Like what?
2021 was fixed, but not for long. Wemby won this battle, but in the following season, Chet achieved something far bigger.
Let's see. What do he achieve?
By the start of the 2024-25 season, most fans had accepted that Wemby had taken a leap over Chet. Going into the season, Wemby had jumped all the way up the player rankings to 11th. Chet Holmgren,
from 47.
Even in the description of his ranking, Chet unable to escape the expanding shadow of Victor's ascension. But despite the gap that he was building on Chet, Wemby was still unsatisfied with the fact that they were still being mentioned in the same breath. In fact, his disdain for Chet and the Thunder was only growing over time.
What happens when you bring up Chet to Victor?
Well, Chet is not exactly Candyman, but Victor will not even say the man's name.
Wow.
And that's pretty much been the theme ever since Victor Wembanyama arrived.
Bro, because y'all keep comparing him to Chet, bro. He don't want to be compared to Chet. He's Wemby, bro. He's the face of the NBA, not Chet. Chet is nowhere on his level. I'm sorry, bro. If you swap both of them players, the same result is going to happen, and the Thunder's going to have more wins, bro. They're going to win the finals, and the Thunder's going to have more wins than they had with Chet. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. I'm sorry. Like,
I think it's because, you know, that there is a real budding rivalry here, and on both sides, both of those guys are trying to take the attention away from the rivalry and put it specifically on the teams, Oklahoma City and San Antonio. That's what's going on these days. But I'm telling you, they do not like each other. They respect each other, but you'll see it manifest itself on the court.
As Andrew Schlecht of The Athletic put it, Wemby was creating his very own Voldemort. The kid was pouring mental lighter fluid on a fire that was already out of control. It only made matters worse when the Spurs acknowledged that they were using the Thunder as the blueprint for where they wanted to be in the future. It's the kind of motivation that can consume a man if he isn't careful. And Wemby was eaten alive by it. In their first matchup of the season, Chet completely outclassed Wemby, holding him to just 6 points in statistically his worst game of the entire season. On the other end, Chet had himself a game. The Thunder won the matchup, they were looking like early favorites to win the title, and the Spurs were still trying to figure out how they could possibly keep up. A performance that rekindled the Wemby versus Chet conversation. And before Victor could once again prove otherwise, he was dealt his biggest challenge yet.
Breaking news out of the NBA, according to our Shams Sharania, Victor Wembanyama, the San Antonio Spurs star, is going to miss the rest of the season, with what Shams is reporting.
Damn, the injury, the blood clot. Damn.
His right shoulder. He is out for the season, and the Spurs believe that this is an isolated.
While the Thunder were gapping the field and Chet was blossoming into a vital piece on a potential championship team, Victor was sidelined with a season-ending injury. What's the worst-case scenario for a man hell-bent on revenge and willing to do anything to get it? Being helpless and out of commission while your adversary is inching closer to basketball immortality. Well, actually, that's not quite the worst-case scenario, but this is.
The Thunder have taken the NBA by storm for the first time.
Damn, won the finals.
The NBA champion resides in Oklahoma City. The storybook season is
That's
complete.
tough.
It almost sounds like a work of fiction, this whole saga, this young man's rise to glory and his subsequent fall, idly watching his admittedly unjustifiable enemy achieve the ultimate goal. It's at this point where most players would probably let this whole thing go, realize that this beef has gotten out of control. They're two different players on two different timelines with two different paths. It's just not worth it to hold on to something that, in the grand scheme of things, is so insignificant.
Yeah, bro, they don't even need to be compared, bro.
Is not like most players.
You personally have not faced this team since October 2024. You didn't know it had been that long?
I know it had been long, but I didn't know it had been more than a year.
In what ways does today's version of you approach that matchup differently?
I mean, with much more experience in this league, in life, much more knowledge, I would say, of who we are as a team. It's going to be a totally different game than any before.
By the start of the 2025-26
I think the Spurs got like a win or two on the
OKC
Thunder so far.
Wemby was back and ready to play basketball again. He made another jump in the preseason player rankings from 11th to 5th. Chet also made a jump of his own, from 32nd to 24th. For the first time, Wemby was officially recognized as an NBA superstar. Oh, and Chet was now an NBA champion. And if seeing Chet win MVP in a U19 FIBA tournament created a void in Wemby, seeing a ring on his finger created a black hole ready to swallow up anything in its wake. When recently asked if he considers there to be a rivalry between him and Chet, Wemby said, "No, I don't think about that. At least from a basketball standpoint, there's no comparison between us." What does Wemby think about the comparison? Well, his feelings hadn't changed. He's so appalled by it, he thinks there shouldn't be one. But maybe we should be asking Chet how he feels about the rivalry.
Do you consider yourself and Victor Wembanyama a rivalry in the league?
I don't think it's ever been up to players or teams to declare rivalries, so you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yo,
regardless of
this
what the
nigga
fans
chat,
or the
bro.
media think, there is nothing we can do about
This
the
nigga
7'6" basketball demigod who's out for revenge. A man
I'm dead.
hyper-fixated on specifically making sure you never one-up him again. His disdain for Chet at this point no longer subtle or cordial. Fans and the media taking notice that this is not your average friendly back and forth. Wemby is a man possessed, and Chet Holmgren wants nothing to do with it. But while the Spurs were still trying to iron out some wrinkles and adjust to an evolving roster, the OKC Thunder were scorching the entire league. 10-1, 15-1, 20-1, entering conversations of OKC having a good chance of breaking the
I don't think they
all-time
beating that. They're
record
not
for
beating the
wins
Curry's
this
record.
season.
I
And
mean,
Chet
the
Holmgren,
Warriors record.
right-hand man to the league MVP with much larger
I don't think a
sights
team
than
really gonna
beef
beat that
with
for a
Wemby.
minute.
We've already sort of gone down the road. He says that he and Wemby have never really spoken. That rivalry is happening. I don't care what anybody says. Is there a possibility that Wemby's a little in his head at the moment?
I think this thing is man-made.
Yeah,
listen,
want this.
okay, they're both 7-footers and they came out back-to-back years or whatever, and Chet was hurt. Other than that, that's where it ends for me. Like the real rivalry, it's levels to this conversation. The real rivalry to me is going to be SGA and Wemby. Those are the MVP candidates. Why would an MVP candidate have a rivalry with a guy that's not in that conversation? I think there's a lot of levels and a lot of layers to these conversations, and
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, nigga, Chet is nowhere on Wemby's level, bro. Like, you gotta compare him to the great to the NBA. You gotta compare him to Luke. Feel me? You gotta compare him to Giannis. Those is good comparisons. Giannis and Wemby, like, that's a great comparison. Like, you can't compare this nigga to Chet, bro. Like, you can compare Chet to Cooper Flag, but you can't compare Chet to Wemby, bro. Wemby is in a whole different category right now, bro. I'm sorry.
Graduated from that conversation of a rivalry with Chet.
It looked like there was nothing that could slow down OKC, and for some, this rivalry was a thing of the past. When it came time for these two to face off again, at least on paper, the Thunder were a better team in the midst of what could have been the greatest season the league had ever seen. But after 14 long months since the last time Victor saw Chet on the court, and 4 years after Chet stole his tournament MVP, on December 13th, the day had come, where he could finally get back to fixing that hole.
Missed the last 12, and he's getting ready to head on the floor for his first action since November 14th. Harper pull up, Jay, no. Tipped up and in.
What a foul, yo, bro, grabbing him. Bro, not blowing the whistle, bro.
It's a different game now. Harper is lonely. Early in this game. Wembanyama goes down, gives it up.
Go hustle by Wemby.
3-ball, corner pocket. Teardrop, no, blocked out of there by Wembanyama.
San Antonio is quite a bit better with Victor Wembanyama. That's why you have to go get a guy with my experience.
Pull up. Dagger.
Stan Dwayne.
Sheesh.
Wemby's a +20. Not a post up for a big like Wemby. Is at the high up.
Oh, this a block.
This matchup, Wembanyama.
Wemby, get that shit out of here, Chet.
Everything at the defensive.
Another block.
Everything.
It's over to Wembanyama. Made the catch.
Fader mag.
Wembanyama got it back, fires, and it drops.
I'm just bigger than you. That's all this boils down to.
Spurs beat the Thunder by 2.
16-game winning streak, just their second loss of the season. We saw your emotions throughout this one, as everyone's saying that the Thunder is a team that is almost unbeatable.
All right, Wemby.
What does this win say about where this group is right now?
It says a lot, and it says a lot about where it's going to be in the future. I mean, that's only their second loss of the season. It means something.
Hey, Wemby hungry, bro. Wemby won it. I ain't gonna lie. Wemby won that shit. I ain't gonna lie.
Same starting five.
Wemby, ooh, what the fuck? Yo!
Same starting five.
That nigga Wemby looking stupid crazy. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Looking like a straight glitch. Wow. That nigga Wham. Step back. Oh my God. Where are you going, Alex? Nah, Wemby in it, bro. Another win for the Spurs. I think their record might be 2-2.
Now, I would like with my teammates to introduce a little new tradition.
Damn. Oh, shit. Wemby with the windmill mid-game. Nah, that's tough.
The San Antonio Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder, a burgeoning Western Conference rivalry. Wembanyama continues to have a profound impact for the Spurs positively, both the offensive end of the floor and the defensive end of the floor. On cue, Wemby with the buy one, get one free.
Vader mag.
Sure feels like one.
And one. Damn, put back dunk. Damn, bro, just teabagged his ass. Get off, bro.
And a propitious
pull up.
And a shooting touch to his teammate Wiggins and got him packed on the glass.
Block, packed up. Get him out of here over SGA. 3-ball.
Got it back.
All right, bro, fumbled it. Got it back. Don't matter.
First of all, a spectacular pass by Wembanyama. Off the wide action, Wemby pulls the three. Got it.
Damn.
Not only are they kicking their ass on the floor, but they're letting them hear about it. The passion.
Beat him again. That's tough.
And not only have they beaten them 3 straight times, they punked them 3 straight times.
3 straight? Damn, I didn't know it was 3 straight.
Back in the mix again after having to wait the last few weeks to play.
Oh, I mean, you can't imagine. Just get better, do some beautiful things. And I just wanted to be a part of it, you know? And I'm glad that we can still do it when I'm here. I have no doubt, of course, but I'm just glad to be a part of something that's growing to be so beautiful and so pure and ethical basketball, you know?
Hey, Wemby, bro.
Conjuring up what could only be described as superhuman levels of pettiness, Victor Wembanyama unleashed 4 years of frustration upon Chet and the OKC Thunder, beating a team that only had 1 loss in nearly 2 months and was well on track to being the greatest regular season
24
team
games
of all
in 2
time.
months.
Not once,
That a lot?
not twice, but 3 times in a 12-day span, purely out of spite. Now, of course, Wemby wanted to win these games, but the far more pressing matter was making sure Chet lost. At every conceivable opportunity, Victor made it abundantly clear that this was personal, morphing into Chet's very own boogeyman and playing each and every possession like his life depended on it, flexing on him, throwing down windmills after the whistle, addressing the people, and creating an entirely new tradition from scratch. But not only did the Spurs beat the Thunder 3 times in a 2-week window, Victor Wembanyama and his insatiable thirst for vengeance single-handedly derailed what could have been the greatest regular season of all time. The Thunder's record leading up to that fateful December 13th night, 24-1, on pace to beating the all-time wins record.
Wow.
Their record since that first matchup against the Spurs, 6-6. The record now well out of reach.
Damn.
Now, to say the Thunder have completely unraveled simply because Victor is a resentful man who is hell-bent on not letting things go may sound like a bit of an overestimation of the damage Wemby inflicted onto this franchise. Then again, if you told someone the future face of the NBA is still mad over a meaningless MVP who lost 5 years ago in an international tournament that nobody remembers and is still seeking revenge on the poor guy who stole it from him to this day, that would probably sound like an overreaction too. For the Spurs, these wins were a step in the right direction, a sign that they could really compete and beat the best team in the league. But for Wemby, these wins were retribution. One step closer to filling the void where that MVP should be. Intrinsic proof that there should have been no comparison.
Hey, Wemby for MVP this year, bro. Fuck it. You should have got that shit over Jokic.
A conclusion that all of
or
us
was it
reached about 2 years ago.
Was it? Yeah, it was Jokic. Hey, man, let me know what y'all think. Down below in the comment section. This should not be a comparison no more. I gotta compare Wemby to the greats, bro. Chet is nowhere near Wemby's level. I'm sorry. Let me know what y'all think down below in the comment section, bro.